Blood for the Blood God, and Skulls for the Skull Throne. Welcome to Dice with Rice, and this is Blood for Khorne. If you haven't been following along with this series, what I do is give you two army lists. The first is a fun and strong list that you can buy, assemble, and paint without worrying about it getting nerfed. The second list is a more cutting-edge competitive list, and if you're just looking for that list, you can find it at the end of the video, timestamped below. For all you other devotees of Khorne, it's time to play some Angron Yahtzee. He's the biggest and baddest of them all. We're taking Angron. Angron can take out just about any unit in one activation. The goal is to have them focus on Angron so that the rest of our pieces can score or take out the rest of their units. We want to deploy him on the line and move him straight at our opponent every turn. At the start of our charge phase, he's going to pick between three abilities. The first and most used one will be to re-roll all hits until our next charge phase. We're going to be using this nearly all the time. Then, sometimes when we want to have more consistency, or to make just a really long charge, we'll choose an aura of +1 to charge. Then, we have our Yahtzee piece. It's a World Eater's Master's Execution with the enhancement Favoured of Khorne. We're going to start the Master of Executions off the board, unattached to a unit in reserves. Don't worry, in this edition, you still can use the Favoured of Khorne enhancement, even if he's not on the board. This is the linchpin of our list. When we make our Blessing of Khorne roll, we can just choose to reroll all of the dice. What this allows us to do is fish for those sixes multiple times to try and bring Angron back over and over and over again until our opponent is just sick of seeing him. And for our last character, we have Lord Invocatus. We don't intend on actually joining the Master of Executions or Lord Invocatus to units because we want their abilities for what they are, not because we want to take units to protect them. Lord Invocatus allows us to pre-game move even closer towards our opponents. In this list, we're going to be throwing Terminators at them as fast as we can. Then we have 3 units of 10 Jakhals. We want Jakhals because they're cheap and can do our secondary objectives, but also because they have the ability to sticky objectives. Meaning, as long as we control the objective with a Jakhal unit on it in the command phase, we will continue to hold it even if we move units off of that objective. Then what would a World Eater's list be without Berserkers? We brought 2 5-man units that are going to go into Rhino. Our plan is to move this up to the center of the board behind a ruin, then use the disembark to attack the opponent's side objectives. Finally, we have 2 10-man units of Terminators. We plan to deploy these on the line and scout move them forward with Lord Invocatus. And then on our turn, use the strat for auto 6-inch advance and try to roll at our advance in charge with our Blessings of Khorne roll to get those Terminators fighting right beside Angron. What's even better is we actually get a little bit of shooting from our Terminators thanks to the Reaper Autocannons and the Combi-Weapons we're giving them. Combine that with Angron's rerolls to hit, and you suddenly have a unit that's actually fairly good in shooting for a Khorne army. Then of course when they lose one model, the whole unit gets +1 to hit. And if we're down to just a few guys remaining, we're going to start getting +1 to wound in addition. The more your opponent tries to deal with these Terminators, the better they're going to be. That's all for the fun list. Short, simple, and getting to the violence, just like Khorne would want. A key thing to remember with this list is using the Blessing of Khorne roll to bring back Angron is awesome. But don't forget, when you destroy a unit in the fight phase, you can pay 1 CP and just re-roll another Blessing of Khorne. And yes, you can bring Angron back from that roll. So be prepared to roll lots of Blessing of Khorne die. Now for the competitive list. The competitive list involves Angron, of course, but also 2 Khorne Lord of Skulls. We're going to be abusing the fact that they're T13, have a ton of wounds, and have a great shooting and melee profile. We're going to stick them along with Angron on the line, and use his aura for reroll hits to get great overwatches after we advance forward on the first turn. Then we have 1 unit of Jakhals, just to get sticky control of our home objective, and 3 Wardog Brigands with multi-launchers. The Wardog Brigands allow us to pick off chaff pieces with their multi-launchers, but also give us something strong and durable to hold midfield objectives and provide us additional great shooting that you normally wouldn't find in a Khorne army. Make no mistake, the goal of this list is to move straight at your opponent and table them before they can score their secondary points. And that concludes our Blood for Khorne video. If you think this video brings favor to Khorne, then please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe, as I'm going to be doing one of these videos for every faction. As always, thanks for rolling some dice with Rice, and we'll see you in the next one.